is well known for its diversity. Diversity in its scenery, recreation, art, and cuisine. I'm Katriina Cotten, and welcome to Indie Corner BC, where we search out and showcase inspiring stories from seemingly average BC residents who have struck out on their own to create their own destiny and success. The global pandemic has adversely affected millions of businesses in Canada and around the world, causing many to close permanently. For those businesses still intact, the journey hasn't been easy, and the struggle to remain in business continues. That struggle has become compounded due to additional headwinds being imposed on small businesses. Recent problems like continuing supply chain issues, ongoing waves of COVID infections, as well as inflation caused by rapidly increasing gas prices have made current business conditions seem more hostile and hazardous than ever before. But remarkably, there are still amazing stories of human triumph to be found. Stories of people who, through sheer determination, are able to defy the odds and find ways to not only survive, but even thrive. Stay tuned as we introduce you to two savvy entrepreneurs who, in the early days of the pandemic, were like so many other companies who were faced with a very real concern over the possibility of losing their business due to circumstances beyond their control. I'm standing on the corner of Lorne and First in an industrial area of Vancouver. The owners and team at this fabrication business were able to step out of their firmly established comfort zone and save the business that they worked so hard to build. And they did so while simultaneously providing solutions to hundreds of businesses that were struggling to navigate the fast-changing government-imposed protocols brought on by the pandemic. Originally known as Clo Portfolios, the business was born out of the unfulfilled need for high quality and customized presentation solutions. Presentation solutions for architects, designers, photographers, and artists who needed a more personalized, stylish way to transport and showcase their work to potential clients and employers. Meet Adel Salavi and Tarlan Saeed Farshi, founders of Clo Lab Design and CNC Fabrication Company. Operating for more than 10 years, it has steadily grown, not only in terms of their revenue and customer base, but also in the diversity of products they produce and services they provide since starting out more than 10 years ago.
The idea of Clo Portfolios came to me while I was in fashion school. Was not a very good fashion design student in terms of illustration and sewing, but one thing that I always gravitated towards was marketing and how things are presented. So we had to do a final project where we had to show our work in some sort of a portfolio book. And I had some knowledge of CNC machines and laser engravers, and I had a local fabrication shop make a portfolio book. And once that was done, I took some photos of it and submitted it to some design blogs, and to my surprise, they featured it, and I had dozens of people from across the US and Canada, mainly students, asking if I could create a book for them. So that's when I knew I had something. Needless to say, I didn't make it to the second year of fashion design. I'm a fashion design dropout, but I did end up getting a job in marketing because that's my background. And for the next 2 years, I worked the side hustle, figured out how to make the website, and sourced fabrication shops as well as materials, and quit my job and figured if it doesn't work, I could always get another job. So then 2 years after that, Adele became my business partner, and we started assembling these portfolio books out of our tiny apartment. And a few years after that, we got our first small 250 square foot studio and grew from there to a larger 1,000 square foot shop. And from there, we realized, okay, if we're gonna get a CNC machine, it was a live workspace. Definitely can't fit this CNC machine in.
We had the laser in there.
Yeah, we had the laser in there, and the neighbors started to kind of
what's that plastic smell?
have issues with us. So we realized, we got to get out of here. So then we got into an industrial space.
On Industrial
Avenue, and it was about 2,500 square feet with a mezzanine. Now we're feeling like super cool.
Because we were.
Yeah, we are cool. And we purchased the CNC machine, and there are 4-year programs that tradespeople take to learn how to use this machine, and Adele taught himself. Now there's 5 additional employees that are working for us. We had our laser, and from there we moved again to this shop, which is 3,500 square feet, and acquired all the machinery that we needed to bring it in-house and take full control of the manufacturing process. We do all the design and manufacturing ourselves, and it's been really great because there's no middleman. We can iterate quickly on products and bring them to market fast and not have to deal with any constraints or delays.
Yeah, one of the challenges that we faced when we were outsourcing all of the work was waiting to hear back from fabricators and receiving the products. We had to bring it in-house, and once we did, we took full control, and then realized the capability of our own equipment, which led to other products and led to growth and led to learning how to create custom furniture, custom wall panels, and a variety of products servicing the medical industry, the design and creative industry. From there, it just continued to grow, and here we are now. You know, we recently had, it was last summer that we had the idea of creating a large Connect 4. We call it the Score 4, and it was a really fun product to make. We can play it here at the shop, we can play it at the park, and I believe one time we took our very first one to the park just to take photos. And somebody who was living in one of the buildings across the street came down and said, I will buy that, and they bought it on the spot. And we were like, wow, we just took our photos, and then we looked at each other like, we're onto something.
Because it's a very nostalgic game, and it's something you can take to the park and even play with strangers. So we like to make products that are, I know this sounds corny, but that are fun and bring joy into a space.
And for ourselves, it's really fun to design a Connect 4 and then build it and then sell it. Like, that's a really good feeling for both of us. It's exciting. It grows our business, and it's really cool to look at.
It's really exciting to take nothing and turn it into something, to take a drawing or a concept and literally cut the material, glue it up, and put this product together that you then market online and people are buying. That is something that is invigorating, and it
is nice. And it started with a thought, and you know, within a matter of a week, you have a tangible product that you can touch and people can enjoy.
As we mentioned earlier, after several years of successfully growing their company, Clo, like so many other businesses, ran into a major unforeseen obstacle that almost sank their B2B company. Business closures brought on by the pandemic caused orders for products and services to come to a stop, along with the very much needed revenue to stay open. But little did they know, for Chloe, this misfortune was a blessing in disguise.
The pandemic was a double-edged sword for us. Initially, we thought, okay, we're going under, the orders have stopped, no one's thinking about ordering anything custom. I mean, nobody knew what was happening. A lot of businesses were shutting down regardless of what they were selling. And I remember us being in the living room and thinking, geez, what are we going to do? The bills are still piling, but the sales have completely stopped. And we were 2 to 3 weeks out from really having to shut down our business completely.
We found ourselves ready to say, there is no shame in the business shutting down due to the pandemic. And Tarla and I were sitting in the living room, kind of having a discussion about it, not knowing how we're going to pay the rent because the pandemic had hit, all our projects had stopped. And that's when we saw on TV about the plexiglass barriers.
It was a light bulb moment for us because the portfolio books we've been creating over the years are made out of plexiglass. So when we saw this on TV, I think it was a news story about plexiglass shields, and I remember thinking how funny that term was, like a plexiglass shield.
And we both looked at each other and said, wait a minute, we might be onto something here. Immediately we got to work and created a series of plexiglass barriers, and the idea was to just sell enough to pay the rent, but it ended up growing and snowballing into something that was so big that we weren't not completely ready for, but had to take on. I think at one point Tarlin was answering seriously about 100 phone calls or emails in one day.
Yeah.
And it was something that was amazing for us, although the pandemic was not so amazing for everybody else, but it did help us to grow and push forward, which led us to pivot into offering an essential service that not only saved us, but all of the customers that needed them so they could get back into business.
And at the time, it was just being introduced to larger department stores and grocery stores, and we had the forethought to know that, hey, smaller businesses are going to be required to have these plexiglass shields or barriers. And we got to work, and I think our advantage was that we were one of the first to market. We had our website up within a week, and we were ready to go. And I remember that Saturday morning that we got our first sale, we couldn't believe it.
Which led to hundreds of other sales, and one of the things that we discussed amongst each other is these plexiglass barriers, for the most part, are very cold and very, not so attractive. And we made sure that the ones that we produced looked nice and would
warm up a space.
Yeah, warm up the space and the aesthetics of the space by using the wood legs, by making sure that they looked pretty and nice inside all of the establishments that we sold them.
Yeah, and a lot of the places we did sell them to, or the customers that we sold them to, would specifically say how nice these are and how they added to the space. We made some for the Rosewood, Georgia Hotel,
That's right.
A lot of the higher end doctor offices and medical aesthetics offices.
And it led us to, because our previous business was selling portfolios to the US market, our network was basically out there. After the pandemic hit and selling the product to the local businesses here in Vancouver, it also helped us to create a network with all of these businesses in Vancouver that we otherwise would not have had. And because of that, now we get to create other products for all the businesses that we created the plexiglass barriers for, and into something that changed our lives, and we hope that it changed the lives of the customers that needed them, because there was a time where everybody needed to open up and get back into business, and if they did not have the plexiglass barriers, they would not be able to open. So it was an essential service. It helped us grow, and we helped other people, other businesses get back into business.
Right?
Yes.
Nice.
That led to hundreds of more orders for their plexi guards. But they soon ran into a problem. The instant global demand for plexiglass caused a massive shortage worldwide, which resulted in businesses like Clo to be put on wait lists for receiving this hot new commodity. Without the materials, they would be unable to fill the flood of orders coming in. Once again, Clo and the team were uncertain about the future of their business.
We were 400 orders behind because of the shortage.
We ended up doing an interview with the CBC and CTV.
Which for us not only led to more customers, more orders, but due to the shortage of plexiglass in all of North America, at one point there was a knock on the door and there was somebody that just said, "Hey, I heard you guys are looking for plexiglass." And to our surprise, we were just like, "Come on in." And they did, and it kind of saved us. And because of the CTV and CBC article that we did, it brought in the supplier that we needed to continue to offer the plexiglass barriers. Hi, my name is Adele.
And I'm Tarlin.
Together we are
Clo.
Port.
Faux.
Leos.
Despite their self-admitted differences in banter, when it comes to Adele and Tarlin, they are each other's biggest fans for the roles that each of them play, and for what the other contributes to the running of the business.
Tarlin, being the mother of Clo Portfolio, is the one who birthed this business to begin with. I have the utmost respect for. She created the portfolios out of air. Like, it was a thought. She created the company and asked me to join, which I am so grateful for. Tarlin's job basically is to run the administrative tasks, write the emails, create the websites, which she's really good at, create the marketing, campaigns. And one of the things I can refer to is when the pandemic started and we needed a website to sell the plexiglass barriers. I think in a matter of 2 weeks, she whipped up a super nice website, an e-commerce website at that. Her photography is on point, so she has the ability to, run a series of tasks for our products and our needs. And it is amazing to have in-house someone who's a designer, a photographer, a website builder, an administrator, an accountant, and a dictator at the same time.
I can do it all, baby.
She can, and it is one of the reasons we are able to be so nimble, because the moment we come up with an idea, we don't have to go outsource and call a designer or a photographer or somebody to build a website. She can just do it, and she can do it fast. And yes, I'm not done yet. She has the ability to do all of these things, also be extremely bossy, which I need because I need some structure in my life, which she has laid out for me.
Oh yeah, does he ever?
Again, that was a bossy comment that she had just made, but together we make a great team. Every company needs someone to have vision, which Tarlin has, to have a design capability, which Tarlin has, and ambition. It is very advantageous. It is very beneficial to have all these skills in one person in-house. I don't know what else to say.
Adele is really good at sales. He can sell potatoes to the Irish. And he taught himself how to use the CNC machine. So when we first started, we were outsourcing all of our jobs to another fabrication shop. And the thought of having a CNC was not even a question at the time. So he is a master machinist, and he is very good with customers and getting out of them what they need and what they're looking for. He's super attentive and really builds a strong bond with our customers, and not even customers, just anyone in general. Like, he's the type of guy that knows the name of the sales clerk at the Save On Foods or the cashier. So he's very personable. He always has been, and that has provided a lot of the success of how we've been able to grow our customer base, is his attentiveness to each and every one of them.
Thank you. That was really nice of you. Really nice of her to say these things. Yeah.
We asked these two battle-hardened, self-made successes to offer some nuggets of advice to those who may just be starting out or others who are struggling that need to get their business to the next level. Here is what they had to say.
For those who are trying to get into the industry or start their own business or embark on a mission in the creative world, what I can say is, based on our experiences, that it will obviously be tough, but you have to push forward. You have to just believe that you can do it. And I know that sounds corny, but we came from our living room and this is where we are. So you can do it as well. One of the things, and this is very specific, that I've learned is we have a lot of design students that come through here that ask us to build prototypes or things for them, and they are taught to create in an airy-fairy world. Like, you can't just create a product in your 3D software without knowing your materials. So know your materials, do your studies, find out how thick things are, find out what things cost, because a lot of the people that come through here will ask us to create something that it just doesn't make sense. So we've learned to create and design for our machine. Take the time to learn how the equipment that is going to build your product works. Take time to find out what the material costs. Take time to find out how thick a 3/4 inch piece of plywood actually is, and it's not 3/4 inches, it's 0.7105 for the most part, and that will help you.
So my advice for anyone who wants to start their own business is, obviously you have to do the right amount of planning, make sure your ducks are all in a row, but don't get paralyzed in the planning process and think everything has to be perfect before you launch. Launch and iterate your product or service based on the feedback that you receive. Jump and the net will appear is something that we always say. You're not going to know where to take your product or service if you don't have that feedback, and you can't just live in your own head if you don't know what other people think. So that feedback is going to be so invaluable to you and what you decide to do and the changes you decide to make so that your business, your service or product excels.
Yeah, baby.
From a living room space to a spacious and bustling fabrication facility. Hopefully all of you inventors and designer types have been inspired to see your goals and dreams through. For more information about Clo Lab design and CNC fabrication, check out their website at clolab.com or follow them on Instagram at clolab. As usual, we provide food for thought, showing you what is possible. So chow down to those out there with dreams of your own. Join us again next time for more scenic views of Vancouver and inspiring stories from local independent business owners who are making a difference as they realize their hopes and dreams. Until then, we hope you're able to get out and enjoy this beautiful city of Vancouver and everything it has to offer.